私はマユリを犠牲にしてまで生きていたくない。もしマユリを助けなかったらあんたを一生恨むから。
This can't be happening. I hate this choice with no right answer. I hate the universe for being so cruel. And most of all, I hate myself for forcing Kurisu to speak these words when she is the one with the most to lose. Tears well up in my eyes, but I bite my lip and hold them back. Is there really no other way? I can't bear it. I look straight back at Kurisu as she holds me by the collar and tightly embrace her slender body. Her clothes are still wet from the rain, but all I feel is the warmth radiating from the core of her being.
お前はここにいるのにこんなのあんまりだ。
ごめん。
Tension drains from her back and her hands. She gives her whole body to my embrace.
ありがとう。私のためにそこまで苦しんでくれて。でももう十分。私は大丈夫だから。あとはマユリのことだけ考えて。
Despite her fear, Kurisu has made her choice. It's time for me to do the same. I need to decide here and now. The future of the world. Which friend to let die. Holding Kurisu tightly, I whisper into her ear.
すまない。
A meaningless apology.
俺はマユリだけはどうしても救いたいから。
These words are a death sentence, but I force myself to speak them. It takes every ounce of willpower I possess.
お前を助けられない。
When I finish, I feel as if a great weight has left my shoulders. And at the same time, as if 1,000 needles are stabbing into my heart. Kurisu weakly returns my embrace. Then she lets go and stands up.
さてと。
There's already a look of relief on her face.
先に帰る。
帰るってどこへ？
To America?
ラボに決まってるでしょ。服を乾かさないと。シャワーも浴びたいし。
In that case, we should go back together. But before I can suggest it, Kurisu beats me to the punch as if she can read my mind.
あんたはそこでずぶ濡れのまましばらく待ってて。わかった？
We can't go back together. That's her verdict.
わかった。
I hang my head and shut my eyes. Kurisu's footsteps fade into the distance. I wrap my arms around my body. Even though it's summer and sweltering hot, I can't stop my body from shaking. I realize that a part of me is relieved that Kurisu left alone. At least I won't have to face her again, to look upon the face of the girl I chose to die. I'm a coward. My self-loathing echoes in the darkness. I wait about 2 hours before returning to the lab. Kurisu's already gone when I get there. All she left is a single email. cease to inquire what the future has in store, and take as a gift whatever the day brings forth. Horace, Italian philosopher. I'm going back to my hotel. Do what needs to be done. Good night. I sit down on the sofa. While drying my hair with the towel, I look towards the PC in the corner of the room. It's already connected to the IBM 5100, ready for Dadu to start hacking. I already got in touch with him. The hacking starts tomorrow at noon. I drove myself even further into a corner by telling that much to Dadu. Now I can't turn back, no matter how much I want to. I chose Mayuri. I will let Kurisu die. Showering didn't soften the wrenching pain in my heart. In truth, I'm just riding on Kurisu's resolve. Mine is still a flimsy thing. I can't help but wonder, is this really okay? Really?
誰かいますか?
Mayuri opens the door and enters. For a moment, after she catches sight of me, she looks ready to burst into tears. But that quickly gives way to a smile.
オカリンだ。
どうした？
なんとなく来てみたの。
I swallow hard. Maybe I should explain the situation to Mayuri. But I know she'll feel guilty if I tell her. Mayuri doesn't need to know. Everything will be okay as long as we crack CERN's database and reach the Beta Worldline.
最近ね、オカリンと話す時間ちょっと減っちゃった。でもね、オカリンの重荷にはなりたくないんだ。
Can I really let it end like this? Shouldn't I tell her what Kurisu is sacrificing for her sake?
もしかしてシャワー浴びてたの?
Mayuri moves behind the sofa, grabs the bath towel on my head, and starts rubbing my hair dry.
オカリン、シャンプーのいい匂いがするね。
I didn't mind the towel so much, but then she buries her nose into my hair and starts sniffing.
やめんか。
I jerk my head away. Mayuri goes back to drying my hair.
今日ね、コミマ行かなかったよ。
なぜだ？
オカリンのこと気になっちゃったのです。オカリンの辛そうな顔を思い出したらね、コミマを楽しんでなんかいられないなって。だから有明まで行ったけど参加せずに帰ってきたの。
そうか。悪かったな。心配かけて。
Should I tell her? Or should I keep her in the dark?
最近ね、オカリンと話す時間ちょっと減っちゃった。だからね、マユシーは寂しくなっちゃったのかもしれないね。
マユリ、もし俺がお前に隠し事をしてるって言ったらどう思う？
実はオカリンとクリスちゃんは付き合っていますっていうびっくりなこと？
なぜそうなる？
でもね、オカリンとクリスちゃんはとっても仲がいいでしょ。二人はお似合いだと思うな。
そんな話をしているんじゃないんだ。
全部話してほしいなんて思ってないよ。人質だからね。どっちかっていうと 何にも教えてもらえないのが普通だもん。
そんな話をしているんじゃないんだ。
Mayuri's hand leaves my head. I look over my shoulder in a panic, thinking she wandered off again. She's there. I grab her hand, perhaps more forcefully than I meant to.
マユシーはオカリンの重荷にはなりたくないよ。
Again.
だからオカリンが言ってくれるまで待つの。昨日もそう言ったよ。
一生言わないかもしれないぞ。
それはね、とっても気になっちゃうけど、でもしょうがないかな。
その隠していることがお前に関係していることでも。
マユシーに？
俺はお前を傷つけたくなくて話さないでいるんだ。
そのせいでオカリンは辛い顔してるのかな。だったらね、話してほしいな。オカリンが辛そうなの見たくないもん。
それでお前は傷ついてもいいっていうのか。
Mayuri replies with a gentle smile. She nods without any hesitation. Her smile is so sincere, it strikes me speechless.
昨日もさっきも言ったよ。マユシーはオカリンの重荷になりたくないって。マユシーがおばあちゃんのことで苦しかった時、オカリンはマユシーを人質にしてくれたでしょ。だからね、もしオカリンが苦しい時はマユシーが力になってあげたいってずっと思ってたんだよ。マユシーなんかじゃちっとも役に立たないかもしれないけど、
Useful. Suddenly, I remember. Mayuri is going to die tomorrow. I've been through it once before. She died protecting me, and her last words were,
やっとマユシーはオカリンの役に立てたよ。
So this is what she meant.
だからね、これ以上辛い顔しないでほしいな。
わかった。
If that's how she feels, I'll tell her everything. I let go of Mayuri's hand and pat the sofa beside me.
ここに座るんだ。
Mayuri does as she's told.
おやつ持ってきていい？
お前は空気が読めないな。
そうだね。
Mayuri sits up straight with her hands folded in her lap.
じゃあどうぞ。
これから話すことは全部事実だ。お前が見た夢とも関係している。そして俺はこの後お前のために仲間を犠牲にするつもりだ。
オカリン。
Anxiety clouds Mayuri's face, but I ignore it and take her chin in my fingers. A switch has already flipped inside of me.
せいぜい後悔するがいい。この俺 狂気のマッドサイエンティストである法院京馬が行ってきた恐るべき所業の数々を聞いてな。
And so I begin, speaking as the mad scientist whose foolish experiments brought everything to ruin. I start with the first raid on the lab. I tell Mayuri how Moika killed her. Next, I tell her about Suzaha and Ferisu, about Lukako, Moika, FB, and Nae. I describe their fates in every detail. And finally, I tell her about Kurisu.
すなわちマキセ・クリスを生贄として俺は新たなる世界へと旅立つのだ。
There was a lot to explain, and Mayuri kept asking questions, desperate to understand the strange concepts I was throwing at her. Thanks to that, the conversation went longer than expected. It's already getting late.
以上がこの俺法院京馬が考えた壮大なる計画、その名もメイドインヘブンである。
Finally, it's over. Mayuri says nothing. She's staring at her hands, which are clenched into tiny, trembling fists. She looks ready to cry at any second.
なぜそんな顔をしている。
Mayuri shakes her head and bites her lip.
オカリンもクリスちゃんも苦しんでたんだね。なのにマユシーはのんきにコスを作ってた。こんなのバカみたいだよ。マユシーは何も知らなかった。
お前が責任を感じる必要はないのだ。全てはこの俺による計画なのだからな。幻滅したか、マユリ。だが俺は仲間を平気で犠牲にできる男。故にお前がベータ世界線に行きたくないと言ってもそれを聞き入れるつもりはない。お前には俺の人質として絶対に最後まで付き合ってもらうぞ。世界に訪れる混沌、これこそがシュタインズゲートの選択なのだ。
Mayuri ignores my performance. She gets to her feet and lurches towards the door. I quickly grab her by the wrist.
おい、どこ行く？
クリスちゃんに会いに行かなきゃ。ねえオカリン、クリスちゃんに会いたいよ。
There's no way I can refuse Mayuri's request. I contacted Kurisu, rearranged to meet on the UPX overpass at 4:30 in the morning. I was wondering why she wanted to meet so early, but I understand once I see her. She's dragging a large suitcase.
お見送りご苦労。
She faces us with a smile.
そのスーツケース、まさか。
ああ、そういうことよ。
帰るのか、アメリカに。
Kurisu nods.
もともと8月の頭には帰る予定だったんだけど、どっかのマッドサイエンティストに捕まって予定より長めの滞在になっちゃった。もう私が手伝えることもないだろうし、後腐れなくって意味でもいいでしょ。
Is she doing this for me? Or is she trying to outrun her fear? It's not my right to stop her. Even if I did, it wouldn't change anything. Today, as planned, I will crack CERN's database and move to the Beta Worldline. I've made my decision. Mayuri is next to me, standing still with her head hung.
マユリ、どうしたの？具合悪いの？
I gently nudge her back.
ほら、マユリ。
She takes one step, pauses for a second, then leaps on Kurisu with a cry.
クリスチャン。
どうしたの？いきなり。
マユシーはね、クリスチャンがいなくなるの。やだよ。
Kurisu hears a desperate plea in Mayuri's voice. She gives me a look that asks, "Did you tell her?" I silently nod.
マユシーのためなんかに消えたりしないで。
マユリ、お前。
マユシーだってクリスチャンを犠牲にしてまで生きていたくないよ。
I expected Mayuri might say that. It's absolutely essential that I remain firm. I feel bad for Kurisu, but it needs to be said.
それは許されない。俺はマユリを選んだのだ。マユリには救われる義務があるのだ。
Pain stabs through my heart. Those words are reprehensible.
クリスはお前のために命を投げ出すという契約をこの俺と交わした。それを保護にすれば最悪がこの地を襲うだろう。
I clench my fist tight to suppress my self-loathing.
クリスの思いを無駄にするな、マユリ。
でも
ありがとう、マユリ。
Kurisu wraps her arms around Mayuri's back, returning the hug.
でも私はもう自分の中で結論を出したし、納得もしてるから。知ってる？あんたって岡部にものすごい愛されてるって。
何を言い出すのだ。
事実でしょ。
She gives me a mischievous smile.
だからマユリが死んだら岡部はすごく悲しむ。岡部にそんな思いさせたくないでしょ。
でもクリスチャンがいなくなったらマユシーは悲しいよ。
そうね。会えなくなると寂しいかな。でもどうせ私は生きてたってアメリカに帰るつもりだったわけだし。だから別の世界線に行っても私はアメリカにいるものだと思えばそう大した違いはない。そういう問題じゃないもん。クリスチャンが消えちゃうのが嫌なんだもん。ねえ、やめよう。クリスチャンが消えることないよ。
Kurisu separates from Mayuri and gazes straight into her face.
これ以上私や岡部を困らせたらダメ。
She uses a gentle tone as if speaking to a child. Then she lightly bumps Mayuri on the head.
岡部、もうマユリの手を離しちゃダメよ。
分かってる。
それじゃあ私は行くから。もう二度と岡部の顔見なくて済むと思うとせいせいするわ。
She punctuates her insult with a smile. She's so cheerful now, a far cry from the shivering girl in the dark. To see her like this breaks my heart. I'm sorry. I repeat the words in my heart again and again, begging for forgiveness. Kurisu turns to go.
で。
She shouts over her shoulder. Mayuri freezes.
同情なんてしないで。惨めになるだけだから。これは私が決めたことなの。真由里に何を言われたってもう揺るがない。さよなら。真由里、約束よ。あんたは幸せになりなさい。
With that, Kurisu walks away. Early morning Akihabara, well before sunrise, the trains are just starting to run. She disappears into the station, dragging her suitcase behind her, alone. Oh. Mayuri falls to her knees, her face streaked with tears. As I approach, I hear her voice.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
お前が謝る必要はない。すべてはこの俺の決断だ。クリスには消えてもらう。俺はクリスを助けない。そして世界には俺が望む混沌が訪れるのだ。俺が許せないか、マユリ。ならば恨めばいい。だがそれでもお前には最後まで付き合ってもらう。俺はお前を救うためにクリスを見殺しにする。だからお前がどれだけ俺を恨もうと、俺の意見に反対しようと、もう後戻りするつもりはない。俺の野望は誰にも止められない。
Mayuri slowly stands up. Then she buries her face into my chest, just like she did to Kurisu.
おかりんの本当の気持ち聞きたいよ。
How I really feel? Mayuri looks straight up into my eyes.
おかりんが心の中で思ってることは素直な言葉で聞きたいよ。マユシーはね、もう重荷になりたくないから。
なってねえよ。なってるわけないだろう。これは俺のエゴだ。俺がお前を助けたいだけだ。お前を失いたくないだけだ。
ありがとう、おかりん。ありがとう。
Mayuri tries her hardest to smile through her tears. And then, once again, she buries her face into my chest.
いつも見てた怖い夢もそこに出てくるかっこいいオカリンもきっと夢なんかじゃなかったんだね。ずっとマユシーを助けようとしてくれてたんだね。ねえオカリン、マユシーはね、オカリンのこと大好きだよ。オカリンがいてくれるから マユシーは毎日笑っていられるんだよ。これからもずっと一緒にいていい？
当たり前だ。
I answered Mayuri with my embrace.
そんなの当たり前だろう。一緒にいてくれないと俺が嫌だ。
マユシーは幸せになるよ。クリスちゃんと約束したから。
あ、
幸せにしてください。
ああ、
離さないでください。
ああ、
ずっと大好きでいさせてください。
あ、
Oh. The radiance of the rising sun pours out between the buildings. Daybreak. As the sky grows brighter, we remain in our embrace, as if to reassure each other that we are still here.
それではこれよりオペレーションベルダンディ最終フェーズを開始する。
Mayuri and Daru turn to me and nod. Today is the last day of Komima. Daru wanted to attend, of course, but a little begging convinced him to prioritize the operation. I take a look around the lab. These 20 days have seen constant change. It's incredible to think that at one point, this lab had a whole 8 members. And now we're back to 3. The memories we made. The experiences we shared. To save Mayuri, I will undo them all. There is sorrow in me, and guilt. I engrave them deep inside my heart. I'll never forget, I mustn't forget, these long, yet short summer days. But still, I choose to erase her memories. I choose to return everything to normal. Suha's mission is irrelevant. I'm not doing this for the future. As long as Mayuri lives, nothing else matters.
ダル、始めてくれ。
いいんだな。
ああ。
オキドキ。
Daru starts typing on the IBM 5100. It's already connected to his main computer. This will get us into CERN's central database where they keep the data they mine with Echelon. There we will locate the first email I sent on July 28th and erase all trace of its existence. With this, I can reach the Beta Worldline. At last, Mayuri will be safe. I look at Mayuri. She's on the couch, sitting straight as a ramrod, with her grandmother's pocket watch pressed to her ear. She stays still, with her eyes closed. Whenever Mayuri wants to calm down, she listens to the sound of that pocket watch. Ever since we parted with Kurisu, Mayuri has said nothing about my choice. I guess she's come to terms with it in her own way. The actual work I've left to Daru, no problem there. Well, while waiting for him to finish, I walk into the development room. In the center of the room is the time leap machine. I squat down and gently brush my fingers against the microwave surface. It's cool to the touch. I made irreplaceable friends because of this thing. Because of this thing, I've hurt them. But I don't want to blame the tool. It's how you use the tool that matters. And I've got to admit, it saved me more than once. But still, once this is over, I'll destroy the time leap machine. We must never make the same mistakes again.
オカリン、見つけた。マジであったぞこれ。
あったのか。俺が送った D メールが。
しっかり残ってるよ。
Dada points to a string of characters. My name is there, followed by the message I wrote about Kurisu's death. 3 lines total, each 12 characters long. This data led CERN to our doorstep. At FB's instruction, Moika and the Rounders attacked. If Suzuha is right, then by erasing this data, we will escape from the attractor field alpha, where CERN dominates the future. That will take us to Attractor Field Beta. To the Beta Worldline within its range of convergence. To a future without Mayuri's death. Mayuri is standing next to me, gazing intently at the monitor. She grasps my hand firmly.
おかり
大丈夫だ。
She looks anxious, so I pat her head to calm her down.
エンターキーを押せばデータは消せるようになってる。
Daughter stands up and gestures to the open seat.
その儀式はオカリンに譲るわ。
I sit down and face the keyboard. This time it ends. Kurisu's face floats through my mind. I close my eyes and take a deep breath. Goodbye, Kurisu. I slowly raise my right hand and extend my index finger.
勝利の時は来た。
Daru twitches at my cry.
この俺はあらゆる陰謀にも屈せず己の信念を貫きついにラグナロックを戦い抜いたのだ。この勝利のため我が手足となって戦ってくれた仲間たちに感謝を。
One press of this key, and Kurisu will die. I firmly grip my coat at the shoulder, where it has been stitched together with jagged pink thread.
訪れるのは俺が望んだ世界なり。
I wished for Mayuri to live and Kurisu to die. That is the truth, and I must never forget it.
すべてはシュタインズゲートの選択である。
This is the choice of Okabe Rintaro.
エルプサイコングルー、世界は再構成される。
I swing down my finger and strike the enter key. After a while, the spinning stops and color gradually returns to the world. Reading Steiner activated. The world line has changed. I look around the room. Next to me is Daru. Behind me is Mayuri. I reach out to her and she takes my hand with a smile. Everything is where it should be. It looks like nothing has changed at all. I gently touch my coat's shoulder, where Kurisu fixed a torn seam. It's gone. My coat isn't torn. The stitches, uneven from having been sewn in the dark, have disappeared. There's no trace of that ridiculous pink thread. I stand up and head to the development room. Underneath the table, the time leap machine. No. That's not the time leap machine. That's the phone wave we've suffered to change. The upgrades Kurisu have made are gone. Nothing has changed. This world is exactly the same. In all respects save one. Kurisu was never here. I thought that I was prepared for this. But now that I'm face to face with the cruel consequence of my decision, I feel powerless, defeated. I want to cry.
おかり、どうしたの？
Mayuri runs up and grabs my arm.
なあ、マユリ。
何
ラボメンナンバー004は誰だっけ？
I need to ask. Even though I know what the answer will be.
004？おかりん、ラボメンはね、オカリンとマユシーとダルくんの3人しかいないよ。
The tears come. I crumple to my knees, and I cover my face with my hands.
そうだな。このラボに4人目のラボメンなんていなかったよ。
Her existence was rejected by the world.
オカリン、何か悲しいことがあったんだね。
Mighty rubs my back.
マユシーはね、オカリンの力になってあげたいよ。
I embrace Mighty. I stifle my voice and cry.
オカリン、泣かないで。
マユリはどこにも行かないでくれ。ずっとそばにいてくれ。頼むよ。
Mighty tenderly strokes my head.
マユシーはずっと一緒だよ。これまでみたいにずっと。
All trace of Kurise's existence has vanished. This proves that I have returned to my original world line. This is the world I struggled to reach. The world Suza had traveled through time to create. A world where the future is free. Nothing has changed, and yet, this is my utopia. Oh. The night of the 17th passed. The night of the 18th passed. And Mayuri still didn't die. I've kept a close watch for 3 days since then. There have been no attacks, no accidents, no sign that anything might happen. That was enough to convince me that Mayuri is safe. Together with Daru, I destroyed the phone wave and the IBM 5100. Although we've lost the ability to send emails, that is a small price to pay to stay below CERN's radar. Tenoji is downstairs in the Braun Tube workshop, watching TV on the 42-inch CRT like always. When I went to check out Radicon, I found it open for business as usual. A search of the internet turned up no mention of a satellite crash. Instead, I found a small article in the local section of a newspaper dated July 28th. It was a report on Kurise's murder. There was no follow-up. The culprit is still at large. According to Daru, the police questioned me several times. It was I who discovered the body, after all. Of course, I don't remember any of that. At any rate, Mayuri is still alive. I've accomplished what I set out to do. It's over. Mayuri emerges from the ticket gate, waving her hand as she runs my way. She weaves through the gaps between shoppers and maids handing out leaflets, and when she gets to me, she looks at me with puppy dog eyes. Mayuri doesn't answer me. She just strokes my cheek, gently, silently. She's crying, but she doesn't seem sad. Rather, she seems overcome with emotion.
おかり、迎えに来てくれたんだね。マユシーのことわざわざ待っててくれるなんて、嬉しいよ。
そんなことでいちいち喜ぶな。
Mayuri wipes away her tears, making room for her shy, innocent smile.
あのね、マユシーはオカリンの人質から恋人にクラスチェンジしたんだよね。
いかにも。
I have no idea how to respond to such an embarrassing question. But she's right. Mayuri and I are officially a couple. After these long, painful 20 days, I finally noticed how important Mayuri is to me. Plus, she told me that she loved me.
よかった。夢じゃないんだ。
いいからさっさとラボに行くぞ。こんな草暑いところに立っていたら日射病で死ぬ。
I start walking without waiting for Mayuri's response.
でもね、ラボだってすっごく暑いよ。
扇風機があるだけマシだ。それに喉が渇いた。ドクターペッパーで一服したい。
It's Sunday. Despite the heat, I see plenty of shoppers laden with bags enjoying themselves on the streets of Akiba. I suddenly feel a void in my heart. Nothing about this town has changed. Yet it feels like something is missing from my life. No doubt it's the gap that was left by Kurisu. But there's no such thing as a perfect future. That is a fantasy that nobody can realize. I mustn't forget. This is the future I wished for, fought for, and won. What I have is most important to me, Mayuri. I should be thankful for that. I am blessed far beyond the common man. I look beside me and realize that Mayuri's not there. I turn around. She's not there either.
Mayuri?
She's gone. She's always like this. Sometimes she just wanders off. Anxiety seizes my heart. Mayuri promised that she would never leave me. This Worldline is worthless without her.
Mayuri!
I shout her name at the top of my lungs. I search for her in the crowd, but it's too thick to see.
Mayuri!
ここにいるよ。
Don't do that to my heart. I turn around to see Mayuri running towards me. In her hands is shaved ice.
オカリン、暑いって言ってたでしょ。だからね、一緒に食べようと思って。
驚かせるなよ。
I feel so relieved. I want to embrace that small body of hers, but we're in public, so I stop myself. I take the shaved ice and hold my empty hand out to Mayuri.
捕まっていろ。
Mayuri takes my hand. Her slender fingers intertwine with mine.
かき氷はラボまでお預けだ。路上で食べたら迷惑だろう。
でもね、溶けちゃうんじゃないかな。
しょうがないだろう。
そっか。しょうがないよね。手をつないでたら食べられないもんね。
離さないぞ。俺は絶対に離さないからな。
マユシーだってね、離さないよ。
Mayuri puts just a little more strength into her grip. Love for her fills my heart. Suddenly, Mayuri looks up at Radikan.
ねえねえ、オカリン。あのね、起きているのに夢を見たことってある？
夢？それは白チュームというやつか。
そういう風に呼ぶの、オカリン物知りだね。それが誰だかわからないんだけど、マユシーにはとても大切なお友達がいた気がするの。
何？
その大切なお友達のことを考えるとね、すごく切なくなって胸のあたりがキューってなるんだ。たまにね、声も聞こえるんだよ。
声って？
幸せになりなさいって。
All of that was undone. I erased those memories, sacrificed them.
その人がそう言ってくれたからね。マユシーは今こうしてオカリンと一緒にいられるのかもしれないね。
Perhaps everybody remembers their experiences from other world lines. Those memories may be vague and tenuous, but they're there. They speak to us in the form of dreams, visions, and déjà vu.
もし会えたらありがとうって言いたいな。
I'm not the only one who remembers.
その人誰だったのかな。
きっと神様だ。
そっか、神様ありがとう。マユシーはとっても幸せです。
Mayuri looks up. She reaches out to the sky like always. She shakes hands with the stardust twinkling beyond the coat of blue. I look up too to hold back the tears. And on we walk, hand in hand. Oh. That ending was very bittersweet. But I think it's interesting that Mayuri finally learned everything that was going on. Her voice actor was so good. That was breaking my heart, making me tear up. They are cute as a couple though in the end, but oh, my heart still aches for Kurisu. But I find it really interesting as someone who I watched the anime first and I got the Suza ending and then I went for the true ending. So I was somewhat familiar with what was going to happen, but being able to play these different endings, they're not only the romantic endings for different characters, but they're also the different scenarios that would happen, you know, in a time travel or time loop story. So having Suza's ending being what happens if you're stuck in like a time loop and you just are trying to prolong things and losing your sanity and your sense of self, or having what happens if you just, instead of trying to return to the original world line, which is Mayuri's ending, just warping the timeline so far that you get to a different ending, which is Feiji's ending. And also with Lukako's ending, what happens if you accept fate and try to still live your life and find happiness within that. And I haven't played Kurisu's ending, but I've heard it's pretty much the true end without the, I guess, the epilogue that ties everything up in a nice bow and we're able to get that happy ending. And I know I didn't quite explain these too well because I'm very emotional. But overall, I really love Steins Gate and this has been a great experience. So thank you so much for joining me. Watch out for the organization. Take care and Eru Sai Konguru.